If you're ready to elevate your dating game, then check out Get Girls Academy, my exclusive program designed to help you attract, date, and keep the women you want. As a member, you'll gain access to proven strategies, insider tips, and bi-monthly group coaching sessions where we tackle your biggest questions live. This is your chance to build real connection and stand out from the crowd. Go to harrywilmington.com to learn more and join today. I'll see you on the inside.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Harry Dating Combos. By the way, did you know this podcast audio is actually from a YouTube video I made? You can check out all my YouTube videos and highlights at youtube.com/Harry Wilmington. Go there, like the videos, and subscribe to the channel.
What up, guys? It's your boy, Harry Wilmington. And today, we're answering a question from a guy who's having a situation with a girl he's been dating for a while now. She and a guy friend of hers were planning to meet up for a dinner situation. And it's the kind of dinner that under most normal circumstances you would think would be leaning towards indications of him having romantic feelings for her. And so he's wondering how to handle the situation. So we're going to talk about this because this is like extra level stuff that when you're dating a girl, sometimes they're going to throw you these like right hooks that you're not aware are coming, and you have to know how to kind of duck them and how to maneuver around them, right? So I'm talking to you guys on the phone, so I can't read what he said. So I'm going to give you the gist of the story, right? So the story basically is that they've been dating for a few months, and this last week, she took him out to eat twice, which is great. She paid for it, took him back to her place. They did some fun hookup stuff, and, he got to stay over, and things have been lovely, right? But he said during the course of their last outing, she brought up that she had canceled plans with a friend of hers because she was just stressed out. And so he was kind of curious as to like why it canceled, because he was thinking, you canceled plans with a friend. That seems kind of rude. And I guess up to this point, she had mentioned that the friend was a guy, right? And so that's when she told him, oh, we had plans, and the plans that we had were a meetup meal. And again, it was the kind of meal situation that under most circumstances, you would feel like, oh, this is like going to be romantic, whether it's like candlelight or whether it's at the park or something like that, like thinking that kind of lane, right? And so she said they're still in the process of trying to replan the meetup. And so this guy he said for like 5 or 10 minutes after that, he was just kind of like in his head about it and distant. And she was kind of wondering, is everything okay? And he was just like, oh yeah, everything's fine, whatever. And then they went about their merry way, right? But now he says he's starting to feel a little bit of resentment about the situation, because it's like, why would she plan this kind of meal with another guy if it wasn't meant to be romantic? And what should he do? Should he bring it up to her? Is it a nothing burger? Is this a huge red flag? What's going on, right? So as a person that has a lot of female friends, I know that when I'm in relationships, one of the conversations I have early on is, I got a lot of female friends. I'm not trying to bang any of them. And so we just been friends for a long time, but I'm mostly with you, right? And even with that said, because like when I'm in relationships, I will like go to the movies from time to time with some of my female friends, because a lot of my women that I've dated, I find they just don't like movies like that. And I'm like, hey, as long as you don't mind me going to see the movie, possibly with somebody else that's of the female persuasion, then it's all gravy and good. But at the same time, I'm trying to think back of all the women that I've dated. I can't think of a single solitary woman that has ever brought up wanting to go solo with another dude at the point that she's dating me. Like, I just find that doesn't happen. I find that women that are highly interested typically tend to not bring up those kind of situations, right? So on the surface, I would say this looks pretty bad. Like it's not to say that she doesn't like this guy, but her suggesting the kind of meal they were going to have, that indicates one of two things. Either she is aware of what this type of meal situation could mean, and she's still down to do it, to explore things, or she's completely ignorant. And I say this guy, I don't want guys thinking that, oh, Harry, you're simping out. You're saying it's okay for her. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, in my lifetime, I have come to understand that, for example, I do this show for you guys, right? I've had to study up consistently on male and female dynamics. I've had to study up on the signals that women send that indicate that they have a level of interest, right? And yet and still, I teach you guys, because there are some guys that come to this channel and they don't know those signals, and they don't know the things that women will do that let them know, oh, she actually likes me. And I have found that at times, the same can be true for women. There are women out there that legitimately don't know that if a man is talking to them a certain way or planning certain kind of outings, that they have an ulterior motive. So I would say this, right? Because we don't know at this point in time who was planning this particular meal situation. If she's the one that brought it up first as an idea to meet up, or if he's the one that brought it up. I would say this, if he's the one that brought it up, then we could say that she's very ignorant to when a guy plans this kind of outing, it means that he likes her. If she's the one that was planning it, then we got a different situation on our hands where it's like she came up with the idea. She thought it was going to be good to meet up initially. And because the fact that she's now trying to change it could indicate that maybe she realizes it was a bad idea, or she planned it during a time when she wasn't completely full understanding of what her feelings were for you. And now that she is, she's kind of like backing away from that. But we don't know the full details of how this particular meal situation came to play. So here's what I would do. If you're asking me what I would do, this is what I would do, right? Because you don't want to go in full force and be like, hey, so, I feel some kind of way about you trying to have this kind of meal with this guy, and this is that you must eat. Like, we're not going to go into accusatory and none of that stuff on her end, right? But I'm a person that when I see certain signals, I'll just bring up that this is what it looks like to me. So let's say he meets up with her another time. It's like, hey, I know you mentioned that you and this guy were supposed to have this kind of meal. How did that idea come about? Now, we're going to assume that she's going to say, oh, he said he wanted to hang out and do something, and he had mentioned doing this kind of meal, right? At which point, I would just blatantly say, are you sure he doesn't like you? Now, she's going to hear that and laugh. Oh, that's so funny. How'd you blah, blah, blah. No, because as a guy, I just know if I was planning this kind of meal with a female friend of mine, it's most likely because I secretly have a crush on her, and I don't know how she feels about me yet, but I'm going to try to figure it out, starting with if she accepts this type of meal. If she did, then I would assume that means that she likes me too, and then we go about and do our thing. And then she's probably going to say, no, that's silly, blah, 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 because women live in this ideal land that guys are trying to just be their friend, even guys that they've known for 5, 10, 15 years because, oh, he's like a brother to me and he's never crossed that line. And they don't ever think that guys can be in the background plotting and in the background waiting for her to accept the invitation to a picnic where he can show out all the stops and have the romantic blanket and the picnic basket and the flowers and all this stuff. Like, women just don't do that. And I bet you listen to me, there'll be women in my comments saying, but Harry, I had this one guy friend that I've known for X amount of years, blah, 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 blah. He's never tried anything. Just because he hasn't tried anything, it doesn't mean the interest isn't there. What it means is you expressed to him one time that, I couldn't imagine being with you. Oh, you're like my brother. Oh, it's so disgusting. And he just thought, okay, so in order to keep her in my life, because I'm somewhat of a simp and I want to keep her around, I just know not to be completely romantic, but I'm still going to be there for her. I'm still going to, if she calls me, needs to talk to somebody, I'm going to be there. And that's unfortunate, right? So suffice to say, though, we want to figure out how this plan came about and then hear what she says about how the plan came about. And then from there, you have a few options. So if she says, well, I'm the one that planned the meal in particular, I thought it'd be a good idea to meet this and that, then I would again stress to her, okay, just understand this. We're going to assume she's ignorant to this, right? I would tell her, okay, just know this. As a guy, I'm going to tell you this. My first assumption would be that it's romantic. And so although even if that was not your intent, you got to understand how guys take things, and it may be the first time you ever heard this in your entire life, but chances are, if he says yes to that, he's thinking it's going to lead towards something. And so for that reason, I will say this, I don't feel comfortable with that particular meal idea being a thing you two do. Not because I don't trust you, but because as a guy, he's going to take that a certain way, whether you think it's going to happen or not. And now, so that way you're explaining to her in a way of saying, hey, I'm not thinking you're trying to get with him. I'm saying you setting this up could make him think that that's the route that it's going. And if he says yes to it, he could then try to do things with you during that meal time that are try to be romantic in nature. And I'm not trying to set you up to have that happen if you don't see that guy in that way, right? Now, at that point, she's going to make some choices again. She's either going to be like, you know what? I didn't know that, but I see what you're talking about. Okay. Because the thing is this, I don't have a problem necessarily with her trying to meet up with a friend to catch up. We're not trying to be the guy that's like, oh, my girl can never be. Again, as a guy that hangs solo with his female friends, I can't be a hypocrite like that, right? But what we are trying to do is we're trying to make her see and understand how guys function, what they think about things, and how they take it. And then at the point that she hears that, well, you're not putting blame on her, but you're putting you're putting emphasis on what the situation oftentimes means to men. If she hears that and it's still like, but I still want to do it, at that point, now you got to either consider dumping her, or you can do the thing where it's like, you just say, okay, cool, whatever, you do what you want to do. And then cut to when she wants to come to you with the what are we speech, can we be boyfriend and girlfriend? You say what your particulars are in terms of what that means. So you want to be my girlfriend? Okay, so what does that look like to you? Because to me, if you were my girlfriend, for example, one of the things I wouldn't want is you going out with other dudes. Would you be cool with that? In other words, you don't give her what she wants if she's not willing to play the ball with respect to the things that you need and want out of a relationship. So unless she's agreeing to not do that, you just don't get in a relationship. And so let's say in this meeting, she says, well, I'm going to go still see him and do whatever I want to do. Then you just say, okay, fine. It is what it is. That's cool. And then at that point, you start pulling back a bit. When she calls you up to hang out one day or go on a date, you say, oh, you know what? I got plans tonight with a female friend of mine, so I can't do that. But hey, you know what? Let's do it some other time. And again, we're not going to look at the guy that's butthurt about nothing. You're just saying, hey, you showed me that what I want, with reference to you doing this particular thing with this guy, that you don't respect how I feel about that, and that's your right to do that. I have my right to feel how I feel about it and to make other moves accordingly. So if you want to continue to do these type of meals with this other person, then you're in your right to do that. And I'm in my right to say, okay, I'm going to go hang with some other chicks and see how they want to hang out. That allows it to become her decision to not do the meal plan she was going to be doing versus you forcing her to do it. So hopefully, Guy, this gives you a little bit more insight. And by the way, this guy that I'm answering the question for is part of my Get Girls Academy. So when you join the Get Girls Academy, I just answer your questions as soon as they come in. Whereas if you're not part of the academy and you write me, I will answer your question on a show at some time. If your thing is time sensitive, you're either going to want to join the Get Girls Academy so you have unlimited email access to me, or you can reach out for a one-on-one coaching call and we can handle it that way, right?
Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Harry Dating Convos. Don't forget to visit harrywilmington.com to download my free ebook, Texting Women Like a Boss. And while you're there, if you're ready to take things to the next level with your dating life, check out the Get Girls Academy membership program for exclusive strategies and live coaching. Go to harrywilmington.com to learn more and join today. Lastly, if you've got a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, leave a comment below or write me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.